I think you've even mentioned this
Mhm.
in one of your recent videos, but it'll be a bit of a, well, it may end up being a little bit of a rocky start,
Yeah,
but
that's what
it'll
I hear.
get, yeah, it'll get very quickly ironed out just because of that huge influx of bug reports. We've
Yeah.
already got a ton of them that are very, very quickly being worked through.
hmm Yeah, I know.
But of course, there will be people with very weird configurations.
Yeah, I know Nate's already done a blog post talking about how the second the alpha started, there was a giant uptick in bug reports, and that just makes sense. You now that you have an actual build that is available for people to use, it's something that people can easily install in their system, and people are going to try weird things. Like there's going to be someone out there that has like three Thunderbolt monitors. There's going to be someone out there using a Haswell CPU. There's going to be someone out there that's like using some weird screen reader that nobody even realizes exists. Like all of those things are going to be out there, and I have no doubts the problems are going to be ironed out. But yeah, I've definitely been told that the first release is going to be it's going to be rocky, but I don't expect it to be whatever KDE 4's first release was. Like
It
everything
shouldn't be anything like KDE 4.
everything I've heard about it from all the devs that are just running it like daily right now, it's good. It just has a couple of things that need to be ironed out. Unlike 4, which, from my understanding, I think 4 was it. It was released initially as like a dev release, and people just assumed because it was KDE 4 that was considered the full release, and it just wasn't ready.
Yeah, KDE 4 was marketed, at least internally, as a development release, but the actual version number was 4.0,
Yeah,
which really shouldn't have been done. But it happened.
yeah. That's why you
It's not
see.
happening again.
Yeah, that's where you see like GIMP doing like 2.99.26 or whatever it's on right now. I think 18 maybe. Like you always have it just before that flip over, just so you have that room to say yes, this is clearly a dev release. Do not run this unless you know what you're doing.
Yeah. This is actually completely random, but
Mm.
if anything, I like what uh, Mojang slash Microsoft does with Minecraft Java snapshots.
Mm.
Like, what is 23W04A?
It's very clearly a snapshot, is what it is.
Yeah, so
I'm
at
sure
least
internally
that
they
makes
have
it
like
much
a
more obvious.
I'm sure there's like a meaning behind the
Oh,
each point. I
there
don't know what
is.
it is, and it's completely off topic.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, having some clear numbering system, some clear naming system to indicate this is a dev release, is really really important.
Yes, yeah.
Does KDE currently have some sort of numbering? I actually don't know how the dev releases are like titled.
I think actually I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure they're just beta 1,
Oh,
beta
okay.
2.
That's fair enough. That works as well.
Yeah. And then release candidate 1, release candidate 2.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, that also works just fine. Like, any sort of indication is better than just 4.0 when it's not 4.0.
4.0, but don't use it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, it is very clear that everyone here has learnt from the KDE 4 experience. So with KDE 6, I mean, you've seen how much the time frame has been extended to give as
hmm
much time as possible for
Yep.
ironing out bugs. There's even going to be things like a string freeze
hmm
to make sure everything gets localized properly and there isn't like some languages have localized like the old version of the string. It's
hmm
been like changed, like what that button does has also been changed or something like that.
Right.
There's a lot of different things that are making sure that this release will be as stable as we can possibly get it for a point
hmm
.0 release.
Right, because I expect with the translations, the big translations, like, the Spanish translation, the Mandarin translation, like all of these ones that have a big community around them, those will be fine. But when it's the smaller translations that maybe like, 100 people use in the world, like those I could easily see lagging behind pretty quickly.
Yes, although if you actually have a look at any of our Git repos,
Mhm.
you will actually see that almost every commit is from, well, the GitLab name is ScriptKitty,
Mhm.
which is actually our localization bot
Mhm.
that just puts all the localization changes over from Subversion into Git.
I don't think I've seen that before. That's cool. You there?
So
Oh, hey.
just looking at that, I'm going
Yes.
to say that our localization, well, I guess our multiple localization teams are incredibly active,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
considering how much is being committed daily.
Well, right now is like the time they really need to be active. Like this is the time where
Yes, this is the time.
this is
Yes.
crunch time basically.
Even ignoring that though, if you look at even when it isn't crunch time, there
Mhm.
is always a lot of localization changes happening.
Right, right.
Um, if anything, you really need to actually filter out script kiddie commits just because there's so many of them.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, I have no doubt that they do a lot of really good work, but there's always going to be things that get missed because they might not be, the primary focus, and especially for those ones where there's like less
Yeah,
people working on it, because there's a lot of things to translate in KDE. So,
there's a lot of strings
mhm,
in every repo in every project.
mhm,
There is so many strings being thrown around in every direction.
mhm.
Um, so much to translate into every language in the world.
Yeah.
Like we've got, we've also got to do it to for the other language I couldn't pronounce before. We've got to do it for that language as
Right,
well.
right.
Like there's so much
Mhm.
that has to go into so many different languages. Stuff is going to be missed, but we're going to get it as best it possibly can be.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wish the best of luck. I hope that comes along really well. Um
I really hope as well. Um, I'm not really a part of like the main development or
mhm.
the translation parts of things, but
Yep.
I've just sort of been watching at a distance, going, "Ooh, hope this works." It's looking good. It's stuff's a lot of commits are being made, and a lot of those commits are changing a lot of things and making a lot of things better.
Mhm.
So that's, I don't know, from that sort of perspective, it looks good. There's a lot of stuff happening.
Mhm.
I don't know if that stuff is the right stuff, but it is definitely happening.